All right, so today you guys did the reduced row echelon form with 3 variables. We're going to move that x over, make it negative x, 0. Remember, we have to do the augmented matrix. And that's the reason I put that in standard form. Sorry, I got a little thrown off there. But the first row is 1, 1, 1, 3. The second row has a negative x. It has a negative y, and it has no z, and it's equal to 0. And the third row has no x. It has 3y. Notice how these are out of position? That's a common mistake for some kids. I didn't need the y on that either. And it has 2z. So make sure you get your augmented matrix first, because if you mess up here, it's hopeless, right? Also, keep in mind what your goal is. Your goal is going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, and some constants. There's your goal. Anyways, let's get to it. This one's looking like it's not going to be too bad. I know I need a 0 here, so that's what I'm going to go after first. And it's a pretty simple operation. Row 2 is row 2 plus row 1. One plus a 0 is a 0. 1 plus a negative 1 is also a 0. 1 plus a 0 is 1. 0 plus a 3 is a 3. And then we have 0, 3, 2, 0. Now, how am I going to get something useful? If I think about my goal, I needed a 1 there, and there's a 0 there. I can't do something silly like add 1. Like, that would be ridiculous. What I can do is I can do what's called row swap. Or a row swap. Row 2 and row 3. I like that there's a 1 here, and swapping rows isn't going to change my zeros here. So row 2 becomes row 3, and row 3 becomes row 2. And see what that did for me? That did a whole lot. I'm starting to look a lot like my goal. My next big concern here is probably this 3. And here's the bummer. If I did something silly, like this is a big don't do, okay? Don't do, row 2 is row 2 minus 3 row 1s. And I'm going to show that because of what happens. 0 minus 3 1s is negative 3. 3 minus 1 is 0. Or, sorry, I should have said 2 row 1s. Don't do something silly like that. 0 minus 2 1s is negative 2, and that's the issue. That is the issue. That put a number where you didn't want a number. So don't do that. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head that you can do is to simply divide that 3 out. And yes, you've got fractions, but that's just the way it is. Row 2 is row 2 divided by 3. 0 divided by 3 is still 0. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 2 divided by 3 is 2/3. Don't use decimals, because if you write down 0.66 or 0.6, because that's how you round like you're a first grader, you're going to miss the problem. And 0 divided by 3 is 0. All right. Next goal is going to be this one right here. So I'm going to take row 1, and I'm going to take away row 2 from it. 1 minus a 0 is a 1. 1 minus a 1 is a 0. 1 minus 2/3 is a third. Push buttons if you got to. 3 minus a 0 is a 3. And I'm getting somewhere. I am. I'm getting there. Since I have a 1 here, if I took away a third of this 1 from that guy, I'd have my 0. Row 1 is row 1, take away 1/3 of row 3. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 operations. If I took away 2/3 of 1, I'd have a 0 there. Row 2 is also row 2, take away 2/3 of row 3. 1 minus a third of 0 is still 1. 0 minus a third of 0 is still 0. A third minus a third of 1 is 0. 3 minus a third of 3 is 2. Now on row 2, I have a 0, I have a 1. 2/3 minus 2/3 of 1 is 0. 0 minus 2/3 of 3 is -2. And then 0, 0, 1, 3. So if I read this like I'm supposed to, x is 2, y is -2, z is 3. I ordered triple, 2, -2, 3. These shouldn't be coming out bad. I didn't pick problems that were going to have fractional answers. It shouldn't be. We'll see. Here's 4. And the numbers are a little bigger in 4. That might be scary. The nice thing is it's presented in standard form, so you don't have to do anything else. And again, the goal is always on your mind here. 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, and a bunch of constants. So there's your goal. I'm thinking a couple of moves ahead. If I divide this -3 out, I'm going to introduce fractions. So I'm actually going to turn this guy into a 1, and then I'm going to row swap it. So here's my deal. Row 2 is row 2 minus row 3. I don't just do something. I'm thinking a couple of moves ahead. -5 minus a -6 is a 1. 3 minus a -4 is a 7. 6 minus a 1 is a 5. -4 minus a -20 is a 16. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a row swap. Row swap. Row 1, row 2. And these are my next 2 targets. I'm going to do them both at the same time, just to save paper. Row 2 is row 2 plus 3 of these ones. And row 3 is row 3 plus 6 row 1s. No change yet to row 1, and hopefully a lot of other things will clear themselves out. But -3 plus 3 1s is 0. -1 plus 3 7s is 20. -3 plus 3 5s is 12. -8 plus 3 16s is 40. -6 plus 6 1s is 0. -4 plus 6 7s, 6 7s is 42. -4 plus 42 is 38. 1 plus 6 5s is 31. -20 plus 6 16s. 6 16s is 96. 20 plus 96 is 76. Yeah, the numbers are still kind of hideous. Yeah, this one's pretty bad, actually. I'm going to make this one smaller. Row 2 is row 2 divided by 4. I don't know if that gained me what I wanted it to, but numbers are smaller. I can't do that in the other row. We'll see if I've messed up somewhere. I need this to be a 0. I need that to be a 1, and I need that to be a 0. So I know that 5 times 7 is 35. So row 1 is 7 row 2's. That's going to mess me up, isn't it? Shoot. Let's go back and double check, make sure I didn't make a mistake. Row 2 is row 2 minus row 3. Right now I'm checking if you're wondering what I'm doing. I don't like how the numbers have gotten, and I want to make sure I didn't make a mistake. These numbers are about to get a lot different. No, the numbers are right. It stinks. This thing's about to get some fractions. Row 2 is row 2 divided by 5. I was really hoping to avoid that. But it is what it is. Not much I can do about it. Row 1, the only operation I see is to take row 1 and subtract 7 row 2's. And while I'm at it, this needs to be a 0. Row 3 is row 3, take away 38 row 2's. All right, so let's get at this. 1 minus 7 zeros is 1. 7 minus 7 ones is 0. 5 minus 7 3/5. Okay, that's going to be 25 fifths minus 21 fifths, which is 4 fifths. 16 minus 7 2's is negative. It's just 2. Yeah, that's right. And now I'm down here. 0 minus 38 zeros is 0. 38 minus 38 ones is 0, which is what I'm after. And now I'm doing 31 minus 38 3/5. 31 as a fifth is going to be 155. It's 155 fifths. And by the way, you can push buttons. 114 fifths. The difference in those is 41. 41 fifths. And then I've got 76 minus 38 sixteenths. Sorry, minus 38 3/5. Well, this one's going to be uglier too. That's 380 over 5, because 380 over 5 happens to be 76. And I'm taking away from that another 114 fifths, which is 266 fifths. Now, nobody's stopping you from punching buttons. This is not a problem where, at least in Algebra 2, we're like, no, you do by hand. Nobody is going to ask you to do this by hand. Doesn't mean they shouldn't. I'm just saying nobody's going to. That's all I'm saying. All right. We're getting closer and closer and closer. So let's see how far we get. I'm going to take this guy and make it a 1. Row 3 is row 3 divided by 41 fifths. Zero divided by 41 fifths is 0. 0 divided by 41 fifths is 0. Anything divided by itself is 1. 266 fifths divided by 41 fifths is the multiplication of the reciprocal. The 5's cancel. And that doesn't work out nice, does it? I was hoping that would work out nice, which makes me think maybe I messed up somewhere. That or I'm just being slow. Yeah. 266/41. Let me pause this and double check where I've made a mistake. Well, that took me longer to figure out than I thought it should have. But I started at the beginning and worked. Here's the problem. It's right here. I don't know what I'm doing. That position, the guy that went right there, the row operation was row 3 minus 38 row 2's. Apparently I was looking at a wrong number over here. It's 76 minus 38 2's, which happens to be 76, so it's a 0. So with that in mind, I can move on down to this one. If you take 0 and you divide it by 41 fifths, you still have a 0. Thank you. I was about worried about this one. All right, so the next 2 row operations aren't going to be too bad. They're not. Row 2 is going to be row 2 minus 3 fifths of this 1. So minus 3 fifths of row 3. And row 1 is also going to be row 1 minus 4 fifths of row 3. So 1 minus 4 fifths of 0 is still 1. 0 minus 4 fifths of 0 is still 0. 4 fifths minus 4 fifths of 1 is 0. 2 minus 4 fifths of 0 is 2. 0, 1, 3 fifths minus 3 fifths is 0. 2 minus 3 fifths of 0 is still 2. 0, 0, 1, 2. Simple mistake. I'm sorry, 0 in arithmetic. And here's our answers. X is 2, Y is 2, Z is 0. So the ordered triple, 220. As good as I am, I still make mistakes. Probably should have been pushing buttons. And the last one I'm going to do is a word problem. Naomi, Ines, Deandra, and Carla attend a concert. It's got 4 equations, doesn't it? It's about 4 people. So let's write an equation for everybody. Naomi, 2 posters, 1 shirt, 1 CD. 2P plus 1S plus 1C or 35. Ines, 1 shirt, 1 poster. Notice I'm writing things in standard form, plus 2 CDs for 43. And then we have Deandra, who purchases 2 shirts, 1 poster, no CDs for 34. And the question is, what's Carla going to pay? So there's no 4th equation. It's just this. Even if there was a fourth equation, it's only 3 variables, we could throw one of them away. That's how this stuff works. So anyways, augmented matrix time. 2, 1, 1, 35, 1, 1, 2, 43, 1, 2, 0, 34. And I should probably check that what I wrote down was right. 2, 1, 1, 35, 1 poster, 2 CDs, 1 shirt, 43, and then 2 shirts, 1 poster, 34. All right. So let's just move these rows around so we have a one where we want them. It's a row swap. Row swap. Row 1 and row 3. You could also have done row 2. It wouldn't have been a big deal. 1, 2, 0, 34. 1, 1, 2, 43. 2, 1, 1, 35. And now we're going to start putting some zeros where we need zeros. That's what we're going to start doing. Don't you wish you could do that? Make it all smaller. My next step is going to be that row 2 is row 2 minus a singular row 1 while I'm at it. Row 3 is row 3 minus 2 row 1s because 2 minus 2 is 0, kids. Row 1 is staying the way she is right now. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 2 minus 0 is still 2. 43 minus 34 and better be 9. Now I'm going to have to do multiples. 2 minus 2 1s is 0. 1 minus 2 2s is negative 3. 1 minus 2 zeros is still 1. 35, this is 35 minus 2 34s. I think that's negative 33. Pretty tired. Yeah, it's negative 33. And I like what I'm seeing because I've already kind of got this diagonal going on. So the next thing I feel like doing is playing with these guys. They're supposed to become zeros. Row 1 is row 1 plus 2 of these row 2s. And row 3 is row 3 minus 3 of these row 2s. And there's 100 other ways you could do this one. 1 plus 2 zeros is still 1. 2 plus 2 negative 1s is 0. 0 plus 2 2s is 4. 34 plus 2 9s, that's going to be 34 and 18, which is 52, I think. Yes, 52. 0, negative 1, 2, 9. 0. Negative 3, take away 3 negative 1s is 0. 1 take away 3 2s is negative 5. Negative 33, take away 3 9s, should be negative 60. And we're getting closer. I'm going to do kill 2 birds with 1 stone here to some degree. I'm going to make these guys right here what they ought to be. Row 2 is row 2 divided by negative 1. Row 3 is row 3 divided by negative 5. 1, 0, 4, 52, 0, 1, negative 2, negative 9, 0, 0, 1, 12. And from here, there's 2 more moves and it's done. Hopefully you've guessed what the moves are. They're just to add multiples of row 3. That's all they are. Row 1. Come on, pick the right color. Row 1 is row 1 minus 4 row 3s, and row 2 is row 2 plus 2 of these 1s, so 2 row 3s. 1, 0, 4 take away 4 1s is 0. 52 take away 4 12s is 4. -2 plus 2 1s is 0. -9 plus 2 12s is 15. And then 0, 0, 1, 12. So x is 4, y is 15, z is 12. Ordered triple 4, 15, and 12. Now, what was the original question? Because boy, it got small. Carla is buying one shirt, and this was shirts, posters. Nope, this was posters. This was shirts. This was CDs. Carla is buying one shirt and one poster. So she's doing one shirt at 15, one poster at 4, which is $19. She's the cheap one. And that, boys and girls, was 3 of your 7 problems, and they are time consuming. There's nothing I can do about that.